I just scaled an e-commerce brand based in Dubai to $142,643 per month in revenue, and we need to talk about it. So the reason why this case study is so special to me is because this goes to show that the strategies I teach both on my YouTube channel as well as recommend in general aren't restricted by country borders. The ones I'm about to mention in this video even work regardless of the niche or industry which you are in. So this is one video you're definitely gonna want to watch until the end. But with that, here's the brand I am referring to. Now, so far this month to date, we have done roughly 444,444 Arabic dirhams, which if you convert that to dollars, that's $121,000. And I'm gonna go ahead and refresh this because that number, it seems too fake to be true, but in reality it is absolutely true. If we change this to year to date, we can see this year alone it has done roughly 4 million Arabic dirhams in sale. And again, if we now convert that to overall just dollars, we can see that's roughly $1 million in revenue from January until now, which is almost the end of September. And we started work with this brand in the middle of May when the results had just started to increase. So if we go on over to analytics and look at that time period from before we started work, which was in the middle of May, we can see that this was the first year that they were really starting to get any type of decent results. I mean, the results had already increased by 151%. They're already done 1.4 million dirhams in revenue, but that's when we came in and we started really going hard on Google Ads and taking the brand to the next level. And since May until September, essentially, we have been able to grow the brand by 51%. Now, there was a little bit of a drop here because the brand started to face payment processor issues, out of stock issues, because they had never dealt with such a level of scale before. But that brings us now to the Google Ads side of things. If we now take a look at the results from May 21st to today, because May 21st is essentially when we started work, we can see overall this brand has been able to scale to the next level. And there were a lot of issues which this brand faced in the beginning, which we were able to kind of bypass and really get this brand to a level of sustainability and profitability it needed to continue scaling. I mean, during this time, there was a lot of double tracking going on, at least in the beginning before we began work. But once that was established, once that was done, which we will cover very shortly, the brand started to scale consistently over the weeks and months period of time. And as we can see now, it does roughly 10 to 12,000 Arabic dirhams every single week in revenue. But the reality is now we're using triple whale, so it's much more than this. But before we talk about any of that, let's start off with the foundation first, because that's exactly where we approached this brand. And the first thing you want to understand is that this brand is based in Dubai and it serves the Saudi Arabian markets. These campaigns which we have running are targeting most of them. However, they have recently started targeting India as well. This brand actually is in the baby niche, serving again the Saudi Arabian market. So now if we open iSearchFrom.com and just look at United Arab Emirates, if we just go ahead and just type in baby diaper, for example, we can see a lot of different brands coming up within the shopping section. A lot of these are the brands which we're directly competing with here. Now, if we do a little bit of a further search and maybe change it from baby diapers to baby wipes, for example, we see a lot of the brands coming up. And this is exactly the competitors this brand was dealing with. Now, the beautiful thing about these external markets where it's not the top 5 countries, a lot of this competition is very easy to beat. And in fact, right from the get-go, these competitors could be some of the smallest brands in the world, or they could be barely any competitors at all. Within the Saudi Arabian market, within United Arab Emirates, the overall online shopping realm is fairly new. And as a result, there needs to be a bit more authority, there needs to be a bit more trust to cater to those people, which by the way, they're one of the richest peoples out there. But if we look right here, we kind of use this as an overall benchmark, and we also use Mum's World right here to understand how the brand should be. Now, Mum's World, right from the get-go, it was much more professional than any other brand. So what we did is we kind of looked at his overview here and we made our brand kind of similar to this. So right at the top, there's a lot of trust badges going on here. It tells you exactly where it ships to. It ships to United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, etc. All those countries out there, those were the main targets for our brand as well. Along with that, there was just the header menu with a lot of different collections. The same for our brand, we sell within a variety of different collections. And then there were the product images on the left, just a very simple, straightforward kind of layout of the product. There were things such as the add to cart button, conversion along with the reviews. And there was also things such as add to registry, add to wish list, so a little bit of extra. Then there were also options such as cash on delivery, which is super important in the Saudi Arabian markets and any market really outside the top 5. There were this trust badges right here such as secure payments, only authentic, etc. Scrolling down, we see a lot of different upsells and downsells, very similar approach to what we had going on as well. And then there was a description right at the bottom, just a fairly simple description talking about the product, the features, etc., the overall dimensions, all of that stuff. And then at the very end, there was just a little bit of more information regarding the brand itself, the footer menu, and then the reviews. That was pretty much it. There was no kind of special kind of effects we added. There was nothing extra we did really, because we mimicked essentially this overall layout. Same thing we did here with First Crab. We looked through everything. We saw just how everything was laid out. And then from here, we optimized the website and we helped the CEO optimize everything from there. But that was essentially it for the landing page experience. There was nothing too crazy going on here. But what we did want to focus more on is the actual approach for the product feed itself. The thing essentially that we started focusing on more on is the things such as the product images, the product titles in terms of SEO techniques. And what we noticed is a lot of these markets and a lot of these brands didn't have anything extra going on within the Google Merchant Center. If you see right here, none of these really have reviews, and there's no kind of additional information added such as product type, product category, etc. within the Google Merchant Center. While this one is in progress, what we did is we started incorporating different approaches for the campaigns. Now, if you see right here, this is a heavily shopping and search campaign layout. A lot of these are just performance max campaigns, and then there's a mix of search campaigns as well. So the strategy we wanted to lay out was fairly simple in the beginning. We basically targeted Dubai and all of the products within the store within just this one performance max campaign alone. And during this time, right from the beginning, what we noticed was this campaign was progressing fairly well. It was above a 2.18x ROAS, but the reality was the ROAS from Triple Whale was saying it's above a 3.5x. The way that this brand calculated its data was through Triple Whale because of the complexity in terms of different countries it targets and so on and so forth. We noticed that this first campaign was doing extremely well within Dubai, and we launched the second campaign, which was only for Saudi Arabia only. Every single country you target should be targeted separately, but also you should be targeting it with a different approach in mind, because the people living in these countries are different from each other. They have different income levels, so on and so forth. The third campaign we launched was a dynamic search campaign for cold traffic only to Dubai, and as you can see, this was running at a fairly good ROAS. This was our initial approach, the 3 campaign setup, 2 performance max campaigns, 1 dynamic search. Once this brand was going, that's when we understood that optimizations for this brand would be needed on a consistent level. And this did not just mean optimizations of the campaigns, this also meant optimizations on the back end, such as the average order value optimization, such as conversion rates. Because if we look right here, one country had a conversion rate of 11%, whereas the other one had a barely a 0.77% conversion rate. So we also began optimizing the campaigns a bit further. And for the performance max campaigns, the easiest way that we took to optimize it was, first of all, looking within the insights section on a broad level view, so last 28 days. And what we did is we essentially scoured through all of the different search categories that we were ranking for, all of the different individual keywords which were getting us sales, and we wanted to really use this to optimize the back end. We were also getting a lot of valuable data through the insights section, such as within this bottom section, what kind of demographics this was targeting to the best, whether it was the richer people or whether it was the poorer people. We kept the optimization up by just getting rid of any bad products, and we didn't really touch any types of settings or anything else. We wanted to continue letting the campaign run and gather as much data as possible. And we did the same for this other Saudi Arabia campaign as well, because as the campaign started to perform well, as it started to get more and more results, the overall level of scale started to increase as well. I mean, in the last 30 days alone, we were able to spend 37,000 dirhams in total. And if we compare it to the previous time period, we can see that month over month, this has really increased drastically. I mean, this is a 35% increase in the last 30 days, and the conversion value has increased by 8% as well. Now, this says the ROAS is down by 19%, but the reality is the ROAS is well above a 3.5x still. And because the break-even ROAS was around a 2x here, we were able to bring down the ROAS slightly to improve the revenue and the ad spend, because ultimately when you try to improve the ROAS, the revenue does come down, and both of these cannot just improve both at the same time all the time. But that's what we started to notice. And then as we started to kind of improve the optimization phases and periods, we also began the scaling phase. Now, overall, what we did, besides these 3 major campaigns which had launched in the beginning, we launched a few more search campaigns. Now, these were campaigns for just the collections, individual collection. This campaign, which was a new Performance Max campaign, was launched for India only. So now the route that we chose to scale was through multiple different campaign types, but also through multiple and more countries. We were noticing that we were reaching the top end of the click share as well as the search impression share for a lot of these campaigns right here, which once that starts to happen, you cannot scale further because that's the maximum number of people you can show your ad to. So that's essentially where we are at with this brand. We have scaled it tremendously from this time period onwards. And as you can see, within September so far, we've already passed last month, which is August total revenue. And if we look at the month to date so far, again, it's $444,000 in total revenue, which is a 35% increase from the previous month. But if you're doing $40,000 or more per month in revenue and you need just a little bit of extra help scaling your brand to the next level, go on to my website at yourmarketing.com and schedule a free call with me to see how we can potentially work together and make that happen. But go ahead and like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you found any type of value from this video, and check out this video right here on my newest standard shopping campaign approach for 2023.